At least I hope they are. Hello. Test 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Why did they ever do that with microphones? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Test 1 2. Anyway.
4 5 4 5.
Come on. Welcome aboard the motor vessel. Live and local real talk, where depending upon your personal viewpoints and opinions, you can spend 2 hours with us and leave feeling really rotten or really invigorated. I'm Rayford Brown, holding the meanest man on radio title. To my immediate left, but a very nice man who doesn't identify as being left. In fact, he won't even drive in the left lane in England. Chris
Marks. Good morning, Rayford. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. In for Kelly, and welcome aboard. In the other corner, formerly known to her friends as Rootin' Tootin' Gun Tootin' Totin' Lady Blue.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well, okay. Good morning.
And who are you?
I'm Lee Barrels, Lady Blue.
Got to remind you first thing this morning that there are 6 more months left in 2025 and 5 months left in the Atlantic hurricane season. If you're hunting hurricanes, you need to get your bag limit, get a permit though first before the 30th of November this year, or risk getting fined by the National Hurricane Center. How you doing? Everybody doing good?
I'm doing great.
I'm still trying to catch up. What?
Lady Blue caught you off.
I'm still looking for some things like the password for.
I know. Don't worry about it.
So it's here.
Don't worry
It
about
was here.
It's
We'll blame it
working
on
fine.
Kelly. She's not here.
It's working fine.
Is
Your
it?
voodoo that you do so well did well. That's it.
Did I hit it?
My Google.
You might have.
That's usually what happens when I make things work. Sometimes they don't work. That's sometimes you got to punch them. That's what makes me the meanest man. That's why I got that title.
Yeah.
On this date in the year 1963, some big doings at the U.S. Post Office.
Here we go.
What
I
year?
knew this one was going
1963.
south.
New postage stamp.
Oh, there had come a time that the folks at the post office needed a little extra work that was sold as something that would speed up the mail, streamline the process, and it would give everyone who wanted to mail a letter an opportunity to learn something.
Is that when we went to 4 pistons instead of the horse, the pony?
This was the day the zip codes were introduced to the unsuspecting people of America. On the day before, it cost 3 cents to mail a first-class letter. Not sure if a more expensive stamp came with the zip code. A good possibility, though, right?
I will tell you that back in the
18 or 19.
when Jacksonville split into 2 zip codes, I was the one that sent out the letters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
28540 and 28541.
28546.
They had 28541 was the post office.
And we had 28545, and we had 28542, and 28544. But we had, for the entire Jacksonville area, it was 28540. But then we split it right down Gum Branch Road through Bell Fork. And that was the dividing line. But if you lived on Gum Branch or on Bell Fork, if you lived right on the road, right there, you stayed. But if you went off the road to the right, it was 0. If you went off the road to the left, it was 4-6. It was a mess.
So
gerrymandering.
For those you are just tuning in, our guest today from the United States Postal Service, former postmaster. Call now.
We say that today's payday.
July 1st is also remembered as the day that the Battle of Somme began. That's SOMME. Began in the Great War. It's the day that the historic Battle of Gettysburg kicked off, and the day that the Battle of San Juan began, San Juan Hill, with the battle at El Alamein, also in the range on this date in history. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel was brought to a standstill during his battle for the control of all of North Africa. One heck of a first day of July over the centuries. I also remember this date riding with my parents over to the very old Onslow Hospital. Not the one where it is now, but the one that was on College Street.
Yeah, down College Street.
Off New Bridge Street area. And I had to sit in the car. We sat there looking, waiting, looking up at a window. I don't know whether it's the second floor or the third floor for my aunt to bring over her brand new baby, a little girl named Sharon,
Aw.
my cousin. Happy birthday, Sharon.
Aw.
Happy birthday.
Okie dokie. So much garbage out there this morning. I don't even know where to start.
Big news in the world of criminals in court trials. Brian Kohlberger has
Yep.
agreed to a plea deal.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So is that
Yeah.
actually a court trial? I mean,
No, I mean,
he pled guilty. You know,
well, there's been a lot of motions over the last year, a lot of hearings and stuff, but he accepted a plea deal yesterday, pleading guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Yep.
And he will not try to contest it, and that he will accept his sentence, which is going to be 4 life terms in prison, in lieu of receiving the death penalty. He did this to avoid going to trial, being probably found guilty, and receiving the death penalty. A lot of controversy over this. Like
roll the dice. Roll
I was
the dice.
discussing with Rafer this morning. The family of the victims are very upset because they were not even included in the decision making, or if they approved, they weren't asked their thoughts, anything.
Okay, let me ask you. Let's put you. You're the family of your sister was one of those victims.
Right.
Your daughter was one of those victims. Let's do a poll in here amongst the two of you, because
Yes.
y'all know what I think.
Yes.
But
Well, definitely,
so
yes.
What would the bleeding heart liberal over there on the end think?
Excuse me?
I'm talking about Lady Blue.
What was our last
A
sentence?
very compassionate young woman.
Yeah, I
All
am,
for law
but
and order.
I've thought about that all the way here this morning when I had just walked out of the house listening to the latest on it. And I'm thinking that if it was my family members, I think I should have been included in, look, between the defense and the prosecution saying, this is what's on the table. We'd like to know your thoughts. I think I think I should be included in the discussion.
Mhm.
Now, I look at this whole thing 2 ways. Number one, on the negative side, well, I wouldn't say negative, but one side of me says, no, he should have to give a life for a life, you know. And it's, but then on the other side, I think about the family sitting in a court trial day after day.
That's up to them.
And I know, but if I'm saying if I was the family,
Would you be there?
yeah, I would be there. But you know what? I don't know, having to deal with listening to about how my daughter or a family member was sliced and killed, and the pictures, and just having to watch him. I don't know if I could do it. So thus him making a deal, I think all the families being spared of reliving all that, and then hearing the gruesome and horrendous details and having to look at the crazed individual in court. So I see both sides of it, but I cannot make a decision sitting here what side, what I would prefer.
Let's just say you decided, Chris.
Okay.
Okay, let's go for it, y'all. Let's go for it. The man did what he did, and he's guilty of it, and we all know he's guilty of it. And now the jury, it's pretty obvious that they're going to find him guilty, right? Well, is it?
It was
How many
pretty
technicalities
probable.
are there out there? How many hung juries are there out
there
there?
are so many.
Second trial is always worse.
I think this. Okay, if he is going to plead, he's pled guilty.
Mhm.
He said,
Says it's
"I
going
did
to.
it.
Yep.
I did it." At this point, yeah.
Mhm.
At this point, carry the sentence out. I mean, if he's admitting, "I did it," I don't want no defense.
But he would not admit it otherwise if there was death penalty was on the
Right.
table.
Right.
So let's just say you would say, let's roll that dice because I want an eye for an eye.
Mhm.
I want my pound of flesh. And then you're sitting there in the courtroom, and that little technical thing, you got one person in that jury, hung jury. So then you got to go
Could
through
happen.
this whole thing. You got to go through this whole thing again. Second time around, everybody wants to get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances of being found guilty after in a second trial?
And what are the
What are the odds?
chances that he was found not guilty?
It's always that one. I just couldn't believe
Tough
what
decisions.
this one guy. Suppose you got a witness up there on the stand, like who was that cop in L.A.
Mark Furman.
Furman, yeah.
I knew that's where you were going.
Suppose you got him on the stand all of a sudden, and it's like we don't find him credible. So if he's lying about this thing, is he lying about actually the evidence that he says that he found? Did he plant that evidence?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the questions that a jury, the individual jurors will be asking themselves when they get back in the room, because you can rest assured the defense attorney is going to pull out all stops.
Oh, sure.
So that's the way it goes. So how would you do?
We had an attorney here in Jackson. I'm not going to mention his name. He gave up the law practice he was in just to represent death penalty.
Yes, I know.
And you probably
That's tough.
only because I believe they're paid by the state for representing the death penalty.
I don't know.
I think I'll have to. I'm sure Lee will help check it, look it up. But
I can try.
so he represents and goes and visits the accused. If you get the death penalty, the chances of you not dying a natural death or by someone else's hands in the prison are slim and none. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna live your life out in the prison.
Yeah, if you're over 40 years of age, given what's going on today, you may get to 65 or something, but conditions in prisons are not the greatest in the world. And, if you've got any kind of diseases, infections, or whatever, then things can happen. And you just die.
So to bring it a little closer to home, not our home, but a story in Greenville, the gentleman that was arrested and they said he killed himself this past weekend.
Yep.
His daughter was one that was arrested twice at East Carolina for trespassing.
Which case was this?
Pennell.
What was he arrested for?
He was arrested for rape, I believe, and another, I think, heinous crime. But he killed himself in prison, was what they say. And then his daughter, they brought out later in that story that she was arrested twice. Most recently, she was protesting at East Carolina for being kicked off the campus.
Oh, her.
Yes. Well, it was her father is the one that committed suicide as he was being held.
That.
Yes.
I remember her protest. A little strange. Yeah. And getting back to the whole question, Rayford, I think that had the family of the victims been included in the discussion on whether to accept a plea agreement, I would have been okay with whichever way it went.
Yeah. And we're going to have our district attorney in here soon.
Yes.
Ernie Lee's going to be with us for extended time one day.
Right, yes.
So that's one of the things we can ask him, because I know for a fact that in cases like that, and in a lot of other cases, he always brings the family into the loop. But he will make the final call, of course.
Right.
And sometimes I don't know whether he's ever had to go against the wishes of the family or not. And sometimes he can explain it just like I did. What happens if
you're
sitting there and the guy gets up and walks free because a jury finds him not guilty?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he explained somewhat one time when he was on here that sometimes there are just the smallest of details that throw the whole thing awry. And because of that, they have to take it off the table. I mean, it was very interesting to hear him talk about it. But yes, I look forward to the next time he comes on. And in answer to your question, in North Carolina, the death penalty is reserved for first-degree murder cases. Almost all defendants cannot afford to pay for a lawyer, and states differ on the standards for the death penalty representation. The Center for Death Penalty Litigation represents people facing the death penalty in North Carolina.
So the taxpayers don't pay for those.
It's a nonprofit, evidently. Yeah.
Good.
So, anyway, that was a great question, Chris, because I never thought about it.
I don't know what obviously what I would want is just turn him loose. Let me know when.
Yeah,
that would be the way that I would feel. But I'm me. I'm the mean guy. Remember? It's a serious situation. But do you roll the dice? How do you do it? And no DA can guarantee how a jury is going to return a verdict. Okay, regardless of all evidence.
Oh, I was a foreman for one. And
the most notorious crime because of the nature and the number of victims in this county, of course, was Marcus Schrader.
Yeah.
Yes.
1970, 74, I think, is what I recall. But anyway, he was charged with 4 counts of murder.
Right.
He was tried for 1 count of murder.
Yeah.
He's never been tried for the others.
And won't.
Why?
Because at the time, behind the scenes, the discussion was, let's suppose something happens in this case 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, they overthrow it. Statute of limitations never expires in murder or any felony in North Carolina.
But
They could bring him up one at a time for the rest of his life.
well, why didn't they go ahead and proceed with doing separate cases?
Because what happens if they all across the
first
board,
case.
the board, they found they said, no, that's not, you're just dragging, you're doing bad things. No, they wouldn't allow it.
That's rolling the dice to me.
So why not just, well, it is what it is. They had him dead to rights and they were pretty sure of it. There was no doubt that he was guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
First of all, I was there when they
We knew that.
get him.
Right.
And that really tough, bad guy who had 2 .45 automatics in his house there at Cedar Point and 2 live hand grenades in his house at Cedar Point. Went to get him that Sunday evening, he came to the door, saw enough highway patrolmen to mount an attack on another country, and he started throwing up.
Punk.
Yeah. This is the guy that should have come out blasting with a gun in each hand.
Run back to the bedroom and grab a grenade or something, really.
Yeah, hold on to it. It's going to be a long ride for you. But that's the way it was. And,
that was an evil man.
He went up for appeal every year or two. The last time he was supposed to go up, got a call. I was in Wilmington. They wanted me to stand by because pretty much everybody else was dead.
Yeah.
That had an intimate feeling about this whole case. Well, I had a feeling about it. I stood over 4 bodies.
Well, tomorrow is the sentencing for Brian Kohlberger, so I'm going to be watching that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe somebody will throw a knife. But I just think had the family been included in the decision-making process, or at least had a voice in it, I would be okay with whatever way they went.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing.
Have a voice in it, even if the DA makes the final decision.
The crime, you got to always remember, the crime is not against the victim. The victim is the state of North Carolina.
That's right.
And the state's very much the same thing. It's not against an individual.
Right.
That's the one thing we have to remember about this whole mess. So it's
crazy.
That's the reason that we don't hire attorneys if one of our loved ones is murdered. We don't have to go out and hire an attorney or whatever to represent us to prosecute him. The state of North Carolina will do it for us because the crime's against the state of North Carolina. Okay.
Is that case 2 years old already?
Yeah, I think so.
22.
Yeah.
1922.
And just think about all the hearings and motions and everything else that they've done already, and the amount of money that the tax dollars have put out trying to prosecute or get things ready for this man. But it's over now. No, we're just going to pay for his room and board. Well, Idaho people there are.
Yeah, they will. Southwesterly winds offshore today, 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 20 to 25 later in the day. We've got gust up to 30. Going to be a little bit on the northerly side out there. Seas 4 to 6 feet. Tomorrow is pretty much the same thing. Southwesterly winds kicking up 15 to 20. Gust of 25, seas 4 to 5. Yeah, not nice. And on Thursday, westerly winds coming down 5 to 10. Southwesterly in the afternoon, 3 to 4 footers. Looking a little better towards the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Today, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Mostly sunny with a high near 90. Southwest wind 7 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 24. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy with a low around 75. Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with a high near 87. And Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly sunny with a high near 89. And as right now, it sounds like tomorrow we'll get a good soaking rain.
Yeah,
My garden needs it.
Yes.
my friend down in Crackertown,
What?
Crackertown, Florida. It's
Is that a real name?
No, it is. It is. It's near Yankeetown, which is just a little south. Now, this is
So you got the Crackers and you got the Yankees. All right, here we go.
okay, and it's a little south.
Our number is
910-333-0139.
for those of you who wish to comment.
But, they,
Looking that up.
it's a little. Let's go ahead. It's a little south of Tampa. And she sent me a picture yesterday. They got 5 inches of rain in less than 2 hours.
They had flash flooding then.
It is at Crackertown in Yankeetown, Florida,
She had to look
in
at
Levy County. Can there be a wait? I'm
the sheriff of Cracker.
Now listen to this sentence: Crackertown in Yankeetown, Florida. Only in Levy County can there be found a settlement of Crackertown, neighboring town of Yankeetown. Both are located together on County Road 40. Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Chris.
I'm just.
I'm like,
they're real towns. They're very Republican, and anybody that's not that goes there, they're met at the state line. They're met at the
County line.
sure.
Okay, gotta have a passport to get in, right?
You just can't be other than Republican. But speaking of that, I heard Theo yesterday, and I love Theo. And I did, well, Theo, I'm not, I did do the flyers, but I did them in a nice way and distribute them to all the businesses and stuff. You're not a mean person. I know.
Yes, I am. Theo said so.
I know Theo said so, but he means it in a very loving way.
oh, I just had to look this up. And it says some of the crazy town names in North Carolina. Were you done with your story?
No, I was just saying he's not mean. He's just.
Anyway, some of the crazy town names in North Carolina include Boogertown, Love Valley,
Magus Valley,
and the other one, Intercourse.
Well, they had a road race they were scheduling here one time.
Okay.
There was going to be a cross-country road race.
Yes.
Starting here in North Carolina, going to Pennsylvania. From Intercourse, North Carolina to Climax, Pennsylvania. A federal inmate escaped from custody at a medical clinic in western North Carolina, fatally shot a detention officer with his own gun yesterday, then fled in a stolen vehicle before being captured in another county. That's according to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. The inmate had been taken to an orthopedics office in Murphy for undisclosed treatment when the scuffle began. The inmate took the officer's gun and shot him. The inmate then ran into the parking lot, jumped into a vehicle that had just arrived, and took off. The inmate was later apprehended in Macon County alive, nearly an hour to the east. 48-year-old Kelvin Simmons will be charged with first-degree murder. The detention officer, identified as Francisco Paul Flats, 56 years of age,
wow,
a 4-year employee of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. I hope he had experience before that.
Oh, wow.
Smith said Flat's wife also works for the county detention center. Simmons was already being held on bank robbery charges. Okay, he was in there on federal charges. He was a federal inmate being held on bank robbery charges. They take him to a medical office, and he was also in there because of an October last year escape. They send one guy.
There's a problem.
For a guy that obviously is bank robbery is not a peaceful crime. You put a lot of people at fear because you're there with a lot of other people's cash, and which is okay, but we know that bad guys will kill people in gas station robberies for $15. What will they do to bank tellers? It's been proven over the decades what they will do over the centuries.
It sounds
Why
like
would you not have? I would have shackles on him.
I was going to say
Probably
that.
a rope around his neck. And I'd go in with a shotgun.
His hands should have been cuffed to the chain belt, and down to his feet should have been shackled.
You will not be fighting me.
And you should have had at least 2 people on him.
But that's that's a fault of the detention center for allowing this to occur.
That's sad.
Now, I'll tell you the other thing is, I don't know when this happened. Perhaps he was transported just like we said he should have been transported. I think that he should have been transported. But there are some medical individuals out there that will not treat inmates, who will not treat prisoners that are shackled, cuffed, and all that sort of good stuff. They won't treat them. They want them, let's take those off.
If that was a medical provider, I'd probably say put another pair of handcuffs on him first. I know
I would,
see.
But
Right.
But you just never know. I don't know. I don't know that was the case here.
Right.
I don't want to speculate that was the case here, but I do know that has happened in some places.
Yeah, I'm speculating, but it seems like to me that maybe better security measures could have been taken.
The guy, they say, set fire in Idaho Sunday, then opened fire on the responding firefighters. 2 people were killed. 2 firefighters killed. 1 was wounded. A body found in the little mountainous region area there, identified as Wes Rowley. The local sheriff said the body was found on the mountain. His gun was, in the sheriff's words, found nearby. Those 2 words have bothered me since I first heard it, because they've ruled it suicide. Found nearby. How far nearby is nearby?
Within any amount of distance.
Within arm's reach? Okay. Within 20 feet? Now, I will tell you that depends upon where he shot him, and see that where he got shot. If the guy was dumb and he shot himself in the gut, he can walk for a while. We've got 2 cases here that I dealt with. The investigators say Rowley killed himself. During the hours of the standoff, the sheriff said they were going to neutralize the man. His words: Rowley was 20 years old, reported to have had a troubled childhood. Who cares? He was living out of his vehicle, had once aspired to be a firefighter, and had only a handful of minor contacts with area police. His grandfather told reporters that Rowley wanted to be a firefighter, the same dream that many young boys have. Good God. Rowley's mother and dad were split up. She had claimed physical abuse. The daddy told police that he had not seen his son since last year. Sunday, he set fire to brush in the area. As it was spreading, firefighters responded. Information from the firefighters yesterday said that the fireman asked him to move his car. He was parked there. He got mad. Then at some point in time went on a shooting rampage. Nothing is believed to have been planned other than setting fire. Why he had the gun, I don't know. He was living out of his car. He lived in California and Arizona and other places. He traveled here, there, and everywhere. He's described as a transient. There was no so-called manifesto found. No notes, no nothing. So whatever.
Wow.
I got one for y'all.
Oh, you go right with it.
In a CNN report, the network gave information on a new app that, when downloaded,
oh, you love apps,
shows when ICE agents are working in your area.
Really? What's that app?
Where the folks in charge of the app get their information is under investigation right now. Going underground when ICE is in town is only going to result in a case or two of whack-a-mole. We know that. But CNN is promoting this app.
Seriously, I'm looking at the Ice Block.
Is that what it's called?
The Ice Block
Yeah.
app.
This could even result in some rather tough enforcement procedures. Do you not know who's in charge of ICE? Mrs. Bondi?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Miss Bondi, can you imagine? Okay, they've got this app in Valley, California. So apparently there must be a lot of criminals there, illegal aliens. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to swarm them. We're going to do what we used to call a wolf packing. Remember when the days when the North Carolina Highway Patrol wolf packed an area, they brought troopers in from everywhere, and they nailed anybody they got on the highways violating any laws.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Bottom line. No questions asked.
This is for real, too.
It is for real.
It's
I
only
told you that.
available for iPhones right now.
Yeah, that's going to sell a lot of iPhones. This could even become a problem for CNN.
It should be.
If Bondi gets involved in this, if our U.S. attorney gets involved in this, Attorney General, I don't know what kind of steps that she will take. We know what she's kind of gone off the reservation once or twice.
But does it not?
Aiding and abetting?
It puts the lives of those ICE agents at risk.
Mm-hmm.
It puts the lives of those people that are out there who are supposed to be peaceful and tame. It puts them at risk too.
Yes.
Don't sell our U.S. attorney very short. You might find her cute, but you can bet she's pretty deadly.
You've got to get past the cuteness now.
No, you don't.
She's one tough cookie.
She is.
Oh, God. My
Speaking of that, for those that haven't been watching news at 2:00 in the morning, nothing else is going on.
I was up there.
I know.
Oh,
you said you were, and probably watching the marathon. I don't even know that I feel bad for the pages and the people that are walking
those
around.
Kids were just sitting on the steps like.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm sure they change in their offices and stuff. How many outfits they've changed into White House?
You say that, and I noticed yesterday that two of the young men that were sitting at the front desk that were collecting, they had identical shoes on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if
how do you know that?
Because I saw them up. I'll tell you,
they were black or brown, aren't they?
They were brown shoes with white soles, and they were identical.
White soles.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they asked each other, "Hey, what are you wearing today?" You know, I mean, you notice things like that. I mean,
well, they could have.
So that I think one of the things latest is because of Elon and Don. That now Don is asking that the bill have something to do to kind of help ease the tensions with Elon.
Well, Elon has been putting out tweets, and his last one, let me go pull it real quick here. If you want to think it's over,
well, no, I don't think it's over.
Right.
I think Trump told them, look, make some changes to the bill that helps with the electric cars.
This is about Elon is raising fists because he said this is really going to triple our national debt. And he was putting out yesterday that he was going to do everything in his power to support other Republicans who chose to run that weren't going to, so to say, kiss the ring. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just
his comment, his reaction to when Tillis came out, whether you like Tillis or not,
right?
Tillis, we don't agree on everything. I don't agree with anybody. I don't agree with myself on a lot of stuff. Okay,
Yes.
every morning I have a fight in the mirror. I have to turn the bathroom light off.
who wins?
Me,
Okay.
both times. Like playing solitaire. Who wins in solitaire? You. Well, regardless. But it's for him to, the man has said, I'm not going to run. That's good news.
Yeah.
Mr. President, if you hated his guts, the man has just said he's not going to run again. And you're going to rub some salt into those wounds? Well, you didn't rub salt into Tillis' wounds. He's got a thicker hide than I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm offended. I'm personally offended by what the president did. And everything that he does from this point in time on, I'm going to be offended at, no doubt about it. Do you not think my feelings are going to be tainted? I don't care if a man comes out and walks on water. I will challenge his desire to try to walk on water. Mm-hmm. Probably turn the alligators loose in the water. I don't. That's totally uncalled for, unprofessional, unpresidential, and inhuman. So goodbye, Mr. President.
I hope that that the people understand this. The people that are up there right now doing this marathon session about this bill, for us, is what they say. They all make a minimum or are worth a minimum $5 to $7 million a year. Yep. They've made their money being career politicians, most of them.
Yep.
And they are going to, correct me if I'm wrong, get health insurance the rest of their lives for free. Mm-hmm. They're not affected by anything they're doing.
It's
going to cost us insurance. And we have no say in what they get. We have no say, except voting them out. But
here's the only reason to keep somebody in office until they die or close to it. Mm-hmm. So that we don't have to have two salaries.
No.
And all the benefits for the one that's in office and the one who's going to live for the next 40 years that he's out of office. How many people are on the payroll who are not even working? There are 535 congressmen and senators, right? Right. How many of them outside those 535 are getting money? Yeah, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yesterday, I think when Theo was calling, he had mentioned a senator, and it was John Edwards that he was talking about. And I was already a multimillionaire attorney.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had aspirations to be vice president, and the affairs and everything took out of it. But
while his wife was dying, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's still on the retirement payroll. Because he was a senator at the time. He was a senator for North Carolina.
Well, you have to serve a certain period of time. It's not automatic. You don't get a full salary if you serve one term as a congressman. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's like it may be 6 years, it may be 8 years. Mm-hmm.
I don't know either.
You can double check that.
Yeah.
And you don't get full pay. It's a graduated scale.
Right. Well,
but they do get paid, and they have health insurance. A big deal is health insurance, right?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And that's I know that they're talking about the Medicaid. I don't believe Medicaid is going away. I think it's going to be
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
So one term as a senator will do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 terms as a congressman will do it.
Yes.
So someone like Chuck Schumer, he's been there forever.
If you replace him, he's going to live forever. So why would you want to replace him with somebody else and have to pay somebody else and him?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Well, I keep TV off on Sunday, so I don't have to worry about watching them. Yeah, he has nothing better to do on Sundays, I guess.
Yeah,
on TV.
Well, Elon, what he said yesterday, that if this big, beautiful bill, which I think is a dumb move, why
did he come up with something that stupid?
Anyway,
Twinkle toes.
He said if that passes, that he's going to form a new political party called the American People.
I won't be joining that
the
way.
American Party, and that he vowed to defeat politicians who support the bill in their primaries. So he will put a lot of money into it. He said if this insane spending bill passes, the American Party will be formed the next day. And that's what he said on X.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
From me
We've seen a lot of parties try to form over the years. And
yeah. Man, this is a tragic situation. A man here in North Carolina died after being struck by a pontoon boat's propeller near Shackleford Banks. They're near Moorhead, Atlantic Beach area. The state wildlife officials are investigating. It's a boating accident, boating mishap, boating mess. It occurred Sunday about 6 o'clock in the evening, prompted a swift response from Sector North Carolina. That's the Coast Guard. They got boats from Fort Macon and H-60 helicopter from Elizabeth City. I'm not sure what that one was about, but Harkers Island Fire Department, North Carolina Wildlife, Tobo U.S. also assisted in the emergency response. The man who was 54 years old,
That's right.
rushed to the hospital. Multiple large lacerations to his limbs,
Oof.
his torso. He died while en route.
Now, isn't a pontoon boat kind of considered like a party boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
some will call it a party boat. Some will call
Yes.
it, it's for partying, for large
Right.
groups of people, for family outings.
Right.
They're great for that. I mean, that's
Yes.
what they're there for.
Yes.
Oh, well, on that note,
Some people you can order ski behind some of them because they are get up and go fast boats,
right.
especially the tri-tunes.
Our boating expert here in Scottsville, day before yesterday, a man got hit by lightning in Scottsville, in a
Saw that.
creek. I think he was on. It wasn't out in the ocean or anything, but in a
It's
creek.
eyes,
or
Yeah.
something.
eyes pointed where the lightning decided to come down.
Yeah. And at that point, there's
That's
nothing you can do.
Crazy.
Nope.
No.
I'm jumping overboard first.
Absolutely crazy.
But this guy was he's 54 years old, and his name was Scott McComas. Unfortunately, that's all the information I got, but looking for Scott McComas. We had a bunch of them in Eastern North Carolina. Same name, same spelling, and so I don't know anything else about him. I'm sure we'll find out more.
I know he's at the Burn Center, North Carolina Burn Center. So
This is the guy in
Scottsville.
Yeah, Scottsville.
Yeah.
Talking about Scott McComas here. There was a state representative, I think it was, Danny McComas in Wilmington, that he could have a son that age, Scott. But I don't know where Scott McComas is from. Next of kin have been notified, and I think that one of the cases it had him listed as a local originally, so I don't know. Yeah, those pontoon boats, party barges, party whatever you want to call them. A lot of people get out there on them because you can get up and walk around. A traditional boat, you got specific purposes for them. My boat, for instance, it's a fishing boat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cruising boat or a fishing boat, but it's not. You don't get up and walk around the decks all over the place because the decks have got other stuff on them for fishing and for whatever. A pontoon boat. Generally not made for really rough water. You don't see them in the ocean very often. If you do, it's because somebody slipped up and screwed up and got out there, or somebody like me would have taken one out there just because I can.
I was just gonna say,
What?
I'm not
I've
going
been
out
all
there
over that
on a
ocean in a
pontoon.
13-foot Boston whaler, so but I know the waters, know how to deal with them. But the this pontoon, it's a nice flat platform. And it's got railing all the way around them, and it's kind of safe for kids and stuff to get up and move around to. You're very careful when you got kids on a boat, and I don't know whether they were water skiing. I don't know how this guy was in the water, obviously, and the motor was turned on and running, and it was in gear.
Mm-hmm.
So how and why?
You think maybe he jumped off and,
I don't know. I can
a lot
speculate.
of details yet.
Water skiers is a dangerous situation anytime.
Right.
For folks out there for this coming weekend, and you're new to boating, you don't know what you're doing. You haven't done it much, if any, ever before. And maybe every time you've done it, everything was fine. But here's one of the things that you got to concern yourselves with. You're pulling somebody on water skis. They fall off. You turn around and go back and get them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go all the way back to get them. You say, swim to me. And then you turn the motor off. You don't want it just an idle. If you take it out of gear, the blades are not turning. You know what it takes to put it in gear? Whoops, what'd you say, honey? And you turn and your elbow hits that little thing called the gear, and you're in gear.
Yes.
If that motor is turning, if you're running along at max speed to boat's propeller, that possibly stainless steel, 2 or 3 or 4 blade propeller. Don't know what the horsepower was here. That blade could be turning as much as 5,800 RPMs. 5,800 with 3 blades that will cut through tree limbs. Turning at 5,800 RPMs, you don't stand a chance. I'm surprised that he was alive when they put him in the EMS unit.
Absolutely horrible.
910-333-0139. I'll call this Talkative Tuesday. But on that note, you were talking about going overboard and things.
Yeah.
Off a Disney Cruise Line. We talked about last night.
The guy jumped over
the little girl to save the little girl.
Yeah.
And the questions were, how did she fall over when there's 42 inches rails on the cruises?
Yeah.
Climbing on it probably. Parents not paying attention. I'm just saying, go ahead.
But to what? No, you're fine. But to watch the rescue, it took 15, 30 minutes was tops to save that little girl, which they did. They both were saved. But I just can't even imagine because the cruise line was still going.
You got to stop.
Yeah.
Boats don't have brakes.
Yeah.
Boats do not have brakes. First of all, you got to get the word.
Yeah. They
then the captain has got to order it to stop.
It was an amazing thing.
Did they launch a boat to go get them?
Oh yeah. Okay,
and
the boat
they launched a rescue boat or whatever to go get. That's about the only way you could do it.
The crew did it. Those men did an excellent, outstanding job.
We're talking about the USS North Carolina, not the battleship. That's a memorial. That is not the USS North Carolina. It's called the Battleship Memorial.
Right.
North Carolina Battleship Memorial. The USS North Carolina is a submarine. It's about a 350-foot boat. And yes, subs are boats in the Navy. They're not ships, regardless of their length. But when I went down for the 8th test run for that boat to do some DOD pictures down in Florida, 2008, before she was commissioned, got to spend a couple of days on board shooting photos. Some really cool stuff. It was fun. And I think some of those pictures are still on display at the Battleship Memorial, North Carolina Battleship Memorial. They had them on display for quite a while. One of the drills that they did, Captain Mark, I can't remember his last name, but Captain said, want to go up top? Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. So we're outside the boat, of course, and we're up the conning tower type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot of room up there for a lot of people. It's a small section. But I think there were 3 of us up there. And of course, I was shooting pictures as hard as I could. He said, we're going to do a drill now, so stand by. Okay. He said, you might want to just grab hold of something. I did. He took a box that was wrapped in tin foil, I think it was, whatever, it's a light aluminum of some sort. And he said, the crew doesn't know it. Nobody knows it but me. We're going to have a man overboard drill.
Oh.
He said, are you good for this? I said, absolutely, roll it. He throws this box overboard, running about 25 knots forward speed, about 30 miles an hour, going across the surface. He throws this box overboard. He hits the button and hollers, man overboard. And the alarm goes out, man overboard. I mean, every timber on that steel-hulled ship started shaking. They put it in reverse.
Oh.
And they stopped the forward motion. And they got lookouts show up on the deck. Everybody's got binoculars. And I don't mean they got low deployed binoculars. They got binoculars. And they picked that thing out and they kept their eyes on it. Every one of them kept their eye on the box. They never took their eyes off the box. Multiple. And they went back and picked up that box.
This is on a
submarine.
Okay. So what did they launch?
They did not.
To retrieve.
They launched a SEAL they had a 10-man complement on board.
I got it.
So when they got up near put a swimmer in the water.
I thought I heard copter. Did you say copter?
No.
Just got breaking news.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Vice President Vance has just arrived at the Capitol as GOP short votes to pass the Trump mega bill.
Oh.
They're short voting to pass. You might as well get you a sandwich, JD. Gonna take a while.
What's a short vote? Come on, Madam Observer. What's a short vote?
They needed, if they were 3, they needed to be no more than 3 short on the vote from Republicans and Democrats for it to pass. So,
just
Those long
that just came
sessions.
across.
They're trying to
I'm
slip
like,
one
what?
through, in other words.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was really a word.
They're doing a lot of taking and giving.
Mm-hmm.
Put mine in, take yours out. You know.
It froze my computer.
It's an interesting story,
further
though.
than that.
So, and they launched one seal, look up
He
the
just,
seals, and
he
then
just jumps overboard when he gets back up
Okay.
next to the box, so he can pick it up and bring it over.
Wow.
And they got other stuff they can pick it up
Right.
with, but they always put. You got a man overboard. He went overboard for a reason. He may be having some issues, so you put somebody in the water to grab him.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no boats to launch on a submarine.
No.
You are the boat. You can blow up a rubber raft if you want to, but that's
Yeah.
going to be pretty much it.
That's why
It was cool being underwater, though. Oh,
When
when you got down to 800 feet, he put a bag over the thing because they put it out publicly. We'll go to at least 800 feet. There's a big display, and they put a sack over it when you get to 800 feet. So the civilians on board have no idea how deep we are.
So, Rayford, do you have that story yesterday about that huge healthcare fraud scheme that the DOJ busted yesterday?
No, you read it, though. I saw it.
I saw the headline.
I mean, this was out of Charlotte yesterday. I watched the press conference. I was like, what is this? The Justice Department announced what it's calling the largest health care fraud takedown in U.S. history on Monday.
It's right here in North Carolina.
Charging more than 300 people in connection with over $14 billion in alleged schemes.
Pay it back.
Here in the Carolinas, the alleged scams cheated taxpayers out of more than $20 million, according to the state and federal prosecutors. Multiple agencies worked across state lines to uncover not one,
So how did this?
but two
How did this
separate.
fraud go down?
Oh, well, there's 9 people are now facing charges accused of defrauding Medicaid programs. Medicaid. And you talk about there's no ways to Medicaid. And in the larger case, dubbed Operation Border War, involves David Saunders of Charlotte and 7 co-conspirators who allegedly stole over $21 million from South Carolina's Medicaid program. State officials say the suspects target mostly vulnerable patients. Most all those were severely disabled children.
Of course.
Children who were quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic, yeah.
I'm trying to get their quadriplegic or nonverbal or autistic. Billing is that these minor and severely disabled children never.
See, that's the part. It's not that I don't like Medicaid. I hate the people that have been allowed since the inception, since it was first thought of. There were people out there plotting ways to take advantage of it. In other words, to steal. It's out there. There's a lot of free money floating around from the federal government. Who cares? They're not going to go after us.
In a separate North Carolina case,
make them pay it back.
Crystal Jackson, a Charlotte resident, allegedly stole nearly $2 million by billing Medicaid for services to patients who were dead or in jail.
Those same patients voted.
Yes. These cases are part of the national crackdown that charged 324 defendants, with one defendant being from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Well, you mentioned Jacksonville, so let me just throw this out as reported by WITN.
All right, I just said
Kinston, $14.6 billion part of that fraud case.
Yes, exactly.
Kinston had a company there, the daughter and the mother.
Yep,
did it.
And you know what? People were making comments yesterday on social media. Boy, this comes right on the heels of Kinston being named an All-American city.
Yeah.
I'm like,
timing. I mean, I don't think they did it on purpose.
These people were getting rich off the system. But what gets me is the extent that they went through to defraud the system and were able to get away with it at the time.
What's irritating about it? There are people out there who need the services.
Yes.
And the money's not available for them. There are people out there who really, really need, but somebody else has been scammed. And it makes it very difficult. Are there any hospitals involved in this investigation, Lee?
No, they were all individuals or so-called organizations.
How can you have an organization scamming Medicaid?
Well, nonprofit,
The alleged incident in Kinston was a laboratory.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to mention the name. It's
Why?
not important.
Well, do it.
Okay, First Choice Lab.
Okay.
Right.
Just want to make sure it wasn't anybody that my stuff.
Here you go. Investigators say the suspects created fake companies near the border, then filed fraudulent claims using stolen patient information.
Now, near the border, you're talking about North Carolina,
South Carolina. In some cases, they're even accused of falsifying medical records for children who could not speak.
My goodness.
The larger case, dubbed Operation Border War, includes David Saunders of Charlotte, and like I said, they stole over $21 million from South Carolina's Medicaid programs, and they were targeting vulnerable patients. So these are people that started businesses, medical businesses, and
Kathy worked for DSS.
Right. Yeah, she called yesterday about that. And that one Crystal Johnson that I was talking about that allegedly stole.
Jackson?
Jackson. Oh, you're good. Crystal Jackson. A Charlotte resident allegedly stole nearly $2 million by billing Medicaid for services to patients.
You gotta be mean to be that good, don't you?
Who were dead or in jail. She held herself out as a licensed provider of health care, and she was not.
Mm-hmm.
She provided services to folks who were incarcerated or deceased, or at least claimed to. That's true.
True.
Wow.
Drew, how do you do?
Not bad, and you?
He's rhyming.
That
was true.
Well, no, but Drew rhymed back. And you?
I have two questions. Well, one's a comment and then a question. The first one, the comment, you asked how somebody gets run over by a pontoon boat. In 35 years of going to Fontana and watching people rent pontoon boats,
You can understand it.
it's because people are stupid.
Yep.
The worst I ever saw was they had a concert out there one day, and they tied 3 pontoon boats together, and all these people were partying on it, and they kept the outside 2 pontoon boats running so they could keep it positioned in front of the dock while the kids played in the water around it.
That's what anchors are for.
That's dumb.
Yeah, not this place where the concert was. The water's about 300 feet deep.
Still
Need to be there.
Yesterday in the mail, I got my little brochure, my little ad for Reefs Across America.
Yay.
Nice.
And there's a block on here. I want to support NC0611. Is that the Jacksonville group?
That is the group I created. Yes, sir.
Very good.
Okay, I will check that box. I will send my money into that.
God bless you.
What
Thank
a
you
nice
so
man.
much. Thank you, Drew.
My brother handles a wreath for my parents in Arlington every year, and so I always send you guys 5 or 10 or whatever up there. So I will get this in the mail to you then. But I just wanted to make sure that was the correct. It was it says, "I please have my sponsors support NC0611 Reefs Honoring Our Fallen Veterans."
Yes, sir. That is our group. Yes.
I will check that box and get a check in the mail.
Our heartfelt thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
checking
much. God bless you.
And they're what, $17 a piece?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we
Okay.
thank you on behalf of the veterans who are going to get a wreath because of you.
Absolutely.
My father was a 30-year veteran.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
So Drew, that little big old yeller blob that I see over most of Florida,
It's above Miami.
I see you were right just below that line, but so lucky you this time, right?
Well, you're down here, you get to where you look at it, you say, "Oh, I'm not in the cone, I'm not worried about it."
I'm sorry. Are you in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
Miami.
Miami.
So earlier I was telling my friends here about Cracker Town and Yankee Town. I don't know if are you familiar with those named towns on the golf course?
I've heard the name. I've never been there.
Yeah. Okay. See,
Please go. Please go and give us a report.
We need to have a first-hand report from Crackertown, especially.
I want.
I just want to know. I mean,
We're going to get in trouble.
Nabisco have a Nabisco Biscuit Company have a.
Well, we have a lizard lick.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you two,
I love lizard
you
lick.
two were coming up with two. I'm not going to
What is? I was
It's a fact,
hesitant to even say the words, but they're towns in North Carolina. So
No. One was in
Well, you know, it's
Virginia.
One's in
you look at the
Pennsylvania.
names of towns and stuff. You know, there's, I think, in Jacksonville,
Oh God.
Jackson, and probably half the states in the country.
Huh?
I mean, the funny story. When I first moved down here, people asked me where I was from, and I'd say Jacksonville, and they say Florida,
Nope.
and I said no, North Carolina. So I got to where I'd say I'm from Jacksonville and not Florida.
Yeah, that's.
And then this one guy said, "Oh, you're from Jacksonville, Georgia, then?"
Oh God.
and there's Illinois,
Arkansas, Arkansas.
whatever.
I think we got one of our ham club members. He lives in Jacksonville, but he's gone home to Jacksonville, Arkansas this week. So he's at home wherever he is.
Drew, just the opposite for Kathy and I. When we say we're from Jacksonville, they go, Florida, huh? The other one.
Yeah,
but I didn't know there were so many other ones.
I just say the real one.
You know, you talk about people doing dumb things on pontoon boats. About 3 years ago up there, right at the end of our time in the summer, getting ready to go home, so I never got all the details. That they never released them.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody managed to flip a tri-tube.
They were flying and they turned it hard to the left or right.
Wow.
Well, the story I got was probably the opposite. You know, with that third tube in the middle, he said that they were running way too fast and went over somebody's wake and got the front end up.
Either way,
the wind got under and it flipped front to back.
Yep.
But the problem with it was they drowned a 1-year-old.
Ouch.
Oh man, that's sad.
No life jacket. Probably.
Yeah. Well, you know, what happened is when the thing flipped, the 1-year-old ended up under the boat.
Ouch.
Oh.
And by the time they found it, it was too late.
Yeah. I'm going to,
sad.
Drew, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you again for your donation,
you.
Drew.
Right.
God bless you. Happy 4th.
You know, I was looking at some of these other names. Some of them I'm too embarrassed to even say. We have a big butt trail in North Carolina. That's a trail on the western side of the state near the Blue Ridge Parkway.
They had to, the reason they call it that is because they went through is for special people and they trimmed the
But it's
trail to make
spelled
it a lot wider.
B-U-T-T. All right, and then we have Big Lick. We have Black Ankle. I can't even say this one, but we have a Horny Town.
You just said you couldn't
No,
say
there
it.
was one before
Well,
that.
what could you not say?
You say it, Chris. I mean, because it came right before Horny Town. Can't do it.
Erect.
Okay.
Institute and Kill Devil Hills, Lizard Lick,
That's what we do with
Meat
towers all the
camp.
time.
Meat Camp, North Carolina.
Meat camp.
Yeah, it's in Watauga County.
It's a vegetarian.
About 15 minutes from Boone. I missed that when I was there. Port Town, and of course we know Tick Bite. Townsville. What's unusual about that? Why not? Why not? Have you been to Why not in Randolph County? Why not?
My late uncle, he was a boat.
Just,
nut.
I'm embarrassed on some of these. I can't even.
My late uncle was a real honest to goodness boat nut. I mean, he got paid for it. He chartered boats. He was a captain on one of those big old super yacht type, well, the 80, 90 footers. And he would run it up and down the coast for the guy in Maryland who owned it. In the wintertime, he'd take it down to Fort Lauderdale where they had a dock waiting there at the marina. And the summertime, he kept it up in Maryland by the shore where he lived. So during the summertime, my uncle would stay aboard the boat up there and take and all of his friends out for boat rides and do their thing, yada, yada, yada. Wintertime, he would run down to Florida. They would fly down there and he'd take them over to the islands, Bahamas and stuff, go fishing, winter fishing, did all that kind of good stuff. So one year he just got a wild hair. He got himself a small boat. It was 8 feet long. Put an outboard motor on it, one of those really old old type of motors that it didn't have a reverse gear on it. It didn't have an out of gear on it either. You started it up and you were in gear. To go and back it up, you turned the whole motor around, it swiveled around, and the boat would go backwards. You steered it like that. 8 feet long. He decided he was going to bring it to North Carolina by water. He came with the Intercoastal Waterway because he was enough of a mechanic. He had to work on it all the way. Right. And it stopped here, there, and everywhere. And he had oar locks on it so he could row it. And you know what the name of the boat was? So why, the letter Y, not, K-N-O-T. So why not?
I love boat names.
That was cool. Yeah. I'll never forget that. I was just a little kid.
I love the names they put on boats. That's like during the Big Rock.
Yeah.
I love all the names. You know, I sit there and I have to go on right away once they get them all signed up. And look at the different names.
I always wanted to go out and just do a whole photo thing. I started it one time, just shooting pictures of boats names at the backs of the boats. And the one boat that got me is I shot a wedding on one that was down at what was then Cheney Creek Marina. Mm-hmm. Right beside what was Marine Chevrolet. Right. Remember that little place there? Yeah. I think it's, what is it, a bakery now or something? Yeah. But anyway, they had a marina there. And this couple was going to get married aboard the guy's boat. And it's a big boat, 40-footer, 35-footer. So it had the big aft deck in the outright. So I stayed on the dock to shoot it. Sorry, and part of some of those photos, you'll see the name of the boat, Damn Boat. You do know that somebody's wife, or in his case, his ex-wife, probably named it. You're going down to that damn boat, right? Well, that was the name. That became the name of his boat.
Here's some funny names.
And once you name it, by the way, you got to keep it. You cannot change the name on a boat without going through a whole process. Yeah. Otherwise, you will have bad luck. Oh, yeah. And part of the process involving unnaming it, it involves champagne, and you have to toss champagne to all 4 directions and to the gods. To unname it, then you have to take something with the boat's name on it and throw it overboard.
Don't ever name it after your spouse.
And then you have to rename it and start from scratch and do the whole thing.
Don't ever name it after your spouse.
Look it up. There's the process.
Here's some crazy names. I was looking up boat names. Aquaholic.
Oh, my boat was named Aquaholic.
Not
this
paid
one,
for.
One before. That one was on.
Not paid for. Peer pressure. This end up. Oh, here's one I like. She Got the House.
Yep.
Couples therapy, shark bite, bowel movement, meaning B-O-W. SEA, S-E-A, for SEA.
That's how you pronounce CIA.
Liquid Paradise. No. Here's one. Did you bring a beer along? That's a long name to put on the back. Yeah. And here's one, Passing Wind.
What I always thought about these guys was really wild, crazy names on boats.
Right.
What do you do when you call Coast Guard for whatever? Coast Guard, this is, did you bring a beer along?
This one must have been owned by an attorney or a judge. Motion sustained.
There's one in Jacksonville named Trust Me, owned by an attorney. Yes, Mr. Pope, that's you.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay. Speaking of boating, and I wish Drew a happy 4th. Firecracker.
400, 500.
Firecracker DWI prevention has started in North Carolina. They brought in a whole hassle of highway patrol.
Firecracker.
Yeah. And I remember listening to the show the other day, and Rayford, you were talking about the wildlife. People. There's getting, if I'm not mistaken, July 4th weather is supposed to be nice. There's going to be a ton of people on the.
There will be a lot of people out there, and a lot of people will get tickets. I was going to talk a little bit about safety here too. Life jackets are required to be on board your boat. If you're under the age of, and you better check the rules, I think it's 12, it could be 14. If the boat is in motion, you have to have a life jacket on any kid. Do not put an adult-sized life jacket on an infant. Let me give you a story. And keep that blasted life jacket on until said kid is safe on land.
Right.
At a marina in Swansboro, one little child is alive. I'm talking about a year old, whatever it was at the time, because they had the proper life jacket on said kid with a handle on the back of the life jacket. Comes up. You want a life jacket, especially on kids, that will float the kid's head, regardless of what else is going on. Shop carefully. Get advice. Said kid, they were handing the kid from the boat up to the person on the dock, and the kid slipped. They kept the life jacket on the kid. The kid life jacket was still on. Said child, the child was in the water like an and just picked him up, and no problem.
Wow.
You know how bad that would have gone?
Yeah.
Keep your life jackets on, especially your non-swimmers and all little kids, until you're safe ashore, preferably at home.
Yeah.
I've seen kids that like their life jacket so much they wanted to wear it home. But that's, if they want to do it, keep them, get them used to it. Now, also, since kids and other people should be wearing life jackets, and all kids have to, don't count on one of those $3.98 or $9.98 or whatever they are now, orange life jacket that meets the requirements of the Coast Guard. Your kid's not going to be comfortable in one of those. They'll work, but they're not comfortable. And if they got to wear that life jacket on the boat, or you have to wear it on the boat, go get yourself a life jacket that is comfortable and that actually works. Okay? If they don't wear it, I don't care what kind of life jacket it is. You know how much good it is? The same good that your gun is unloaded sitting in your desk drawer or in a safe. If you need it, it's too bad.
Great tips.
Okay. Now, men, you're all guilty of it. Nature calls. There are more issues that happen with men who stand up high on a boat somewhere and decide to take care of business.
It's not fair.
Waves go by. Ocean is not predictable. The decks are slippery. You may or may not be wearing shoes. You probably aren't. And whatever happens, you're overboard. Hope you don't hit your head if you're not wearing a life jacket. Sometimes you bump your head on the way down and you're disoriented and you're unconscious or whatever. And if you're counting on everybody over there trying to get to you, it might not happen in time.
So let this be a lesson. If you have to take a wee, put on a life vest.
That's it.
And officially, Lee says it's not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's just not fair. We women have to find a. I don't know how we get into these things. When Chris is here, we get way off track.
These are public service things. Okay, they're good for discussion, and people need to understand that the ocean is friendly to a point.
Right.
It's also deadly to a fault.
I agree.
So y'all need to be ever so safe out there, please.
And
otherwise, we're going to read about you on next week.
I've been in many of a boat on the water, many of a time where somebody comes flying by you and your boat takes a huge bounce and you actually go up into air and come back down. So you need to learn and be cautious.
And you boaters out there, especially you weekend boaters who never boat before in your life, or you decide you want to get into this rent-a-boat program, learn the rules of the road. And some of those rules of the road are you're responsible first and foremost. You are responsible for anything that occurs as a result of the wake that you have created. If you're going up to a small boat, you need to slow down enough so that small boat can handle whatever minor wake that you have.
Right.
A 30-foot boat running half speed is going to generate a big wake. That's just the way it is. Wide open, they generate less wake than they do real slow. That's just what happened. You are responsible if somebody gets hurt on a boat that hits your wake.
And some people, I've seen some people that are extremely disrespectful.
Absolutely.
You're in a smaller boat and they come flying by you. And
Now, boat ramps and other areas are protected. Do not go by there with any wake whatsoever. Put that motor in, just barely go forward and stay away from the dock. Stay far away from the dock. I don't know whether y'all have launched a boat and there are a bunch of idiots out there running back and forth, but that boat, when it's being launched, is not under power. Mm-hmm. And it can bounce around. It can damage the boat. It can damage the docks. It can damage people on the docks. It can damage people in the boat. So, you are responsible for all of that. And if somebody gets your hull number or chases you down and calls the Coast Guard, son, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the green and the red.
Yep.
For those that are going out, they need to be
the markers are green along the North Carolina coastline. Let's just take where we are. Yeah. This is a kind of an easy way to remember green and red in the intercoastal waterway. Green is going to be on the ocean side, whether you're going north or whether you're going south. Green is on because you can't do that red right and left.
Yeah.
Doesn't work because which way if you're in a channel or coming back into the inlet from the ocean, red, right, return. Red marker on your right side of your boat coming back into a channel or going into a channel. You're going into a channel to go up to a dock somewhere, they're going to have red and green markers there perhaps, or they may just have one, but you need to keep that one on the proper side. If they got a green marker and you're going into a channel, you need to keep that green marker on your left side. If they have a red marker and they don't have a green one, keep it on your right side. Done. Red, right, return. How simple is that?
That's very simple. So
now, which way is the which side of the boat is the green light on?
What green light?
The one that's there displayed at nighttime. There's red and a green light displayed. Better be.
I've never owned a boat. I just sit there and.
There's something for the folks out there who have never owned a boat but may be getting one and may want to understand this. The green has got the same number of letters as right.
Yes, 5.
Yeah, that's right. Red's on the left, green's on the right. Okay. If you're facing the boat coming at you, directly at you, and you can't see at nighttime. If you can see both lights displayed, that boat's coming straight at you.
Oh, yeah.
The light has 110 degree arc, each one of them. 110 is slightly over 90. So you got it. If you can see only the red light, you're only seeing everything to the left side of the bow. So it's not going to be making a beeline course for you. If you see the green light, same thing. You will only see the right side of that boat. So it's not coming straight at you. If you see both lights, that's where that 110 degrees come from. You can see both of them for 20 degrees, a 20 degree angle. If you see those, you need to move one way or the other. Got it?
Got it.
All right, lessons tomorrow. I'll give you a test.
Can I go on record for something Lee said earlier?
Oh, gosh.
No, you said it. You said it. Whenever Chris is here, we get way off track. Weren't you the one that started with the names of the towns?
Yes, it's her fault.
You started it.
Talk about Town, which is
names in Florida, which made me think about, we've got some crazy names
When we talked about the pontoon yesterday or Sunday, and the guy that was killed, it's a tragic situation.
Right.
Drew was talking about the baby that was up in Fontana Dam area, Fontana Lake. He vacations up there every year, and I've been up there too with them. And they like to rent a pontoon boat, and go out and just cruise the area. But there are some really idiots who rent boats. They don't know. They don't have to be tested. They don't have to be anything else. And I understand that. It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience. You should know something about it before you get aboard the boat, okay? Don't go into some strange town, a strange recreational area, and you don't know anything about boats. Don't go rent a boat, okay? Find somebody to go take you.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that people do. It's just like a car, right? Turn it to the left, turn it to the right. No.
There should be a requirement when you go to rent that you have to take at least a quick safety course or something.
No.
They'll tell you to wear your life jackets and don't run over anybody.
Okay.
All right, offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles. Southwesterly winds 15 to 20. Going to kick up a little bit in the afternoon, 20 to 25. Gust up to 30 knots. That's 35-mile-per-hour winds, y'all. Seas 4 to 6 feet. That's kind of big. They're going to be fairly close together, too, about 6 seconds apart. And when you got 6 footers 6 seconds apart, you're going to be bouncing. Sounds and rivers, choppy. Going to get rough later today. Got that? It'll calm down for the 4th. Just chill. So tomorrow, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gust to 25 in the morning, seas 4 to 5 feet. And on the showers tomorrow, likely, with a chance of thunder boomers in the morning. Thursday, westerly winds coming down 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon, 3 to 4 footers, about 6 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers, a light chop on Thursday. Weekends, the 4th and the weekend looking better. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Today, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 90, winds 7 to 15 with gusts as high as 24 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low around 75. Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with a high near 87. And Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high of 89. It's great to see the heat come down
Second
a little bit.
named storm of the hurricane season for the Atlantic hurricane season for this year has disappeared. It's gone. It got inland in Mexico as predicted, and it just dissipated. So got a little bit of rain left over, but that's about it. There is that disturbance that we were talking about. It runs along part about from the Cape Fear region. There's a slight disturbance out there. That's what's bouncing, making the waves up there that we're going to be dealing with for a couple of days. And it looks like a kidney, but it hugs the coast all the way down to Florida, crosses Florida, and it's got much of Florida inside this little yellow band of mist. It's now increased chance of formation over the next 7 days, up to 30%. Yesterday it was 20%. It's a frontal boundary, and it's stalling. It should weaken off the southeast coast later this week. But there is a chance for formation, not much. So hopefully it will just drop all of this water and leave it with us.
Yeah.
We need some fresh water on land.
I know.
Kind of windy out there. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to
7 to 14 miles per hour with wind gusts as high as 24.
Well, that's only 12 out there right now.
That doesn't even look like that's nothing, I think.
well, for
That's a
those
breeze.
those of us with hair, we have to worry.
What are you trying to say, Chris?
Neither one of you have mentioned my excursion yesterday.
What excursion?
What
Yesterday was
excursion?
Monday.
After 8 weeks, I finally went to get a haircut.
I didn't.
I did too.
Well, look at mine, though. I got a short one. Yeah.
I know that doesn't take it takes them 3 minutes.
That's about all it took. But I had curls on the sides of there.
I noticed Sunday that yours was getting curly and long in the back. I was like, go Raven. Sunday at Saturday.
One day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over the week. It was.
My hair whacker gets busy as it approaches the weekend because I called her on Friday morning. Oh, I don't have anything today. I said,
Just let Robbie take a bzzz.
what she did the neck.
Right.
Because it was getting like, oh God, that itches. I hate that. I just thought I have long hair. I never could do that.
I saw a picture of you with long hair. Didn't you have long hair? And you were wearing a mustache, one of your disguises?
It took 2 hours to put all that stuff together.
Yeah. No, really. You had a lot of disguises.
People that knew me didn't recognize me. I can tell you that. Sat right beside me.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
Imagine. Oh, I want to shout out to our mayor, Sammy Phillips.
I'm going to shout at him. Why?
He just had knee replacement surgery.
Oh, good for him.
And is at home healing and getting better. So hope to see him up walking the sidewalk soon.
Yeah, this afternoon would be good, Sammy.
But best wishes, Mayor, for speedy recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there with that one. I need another one, but put that one off as long as I can. But yeah, Mayor Sammy Phillips. You'll be better. Has he ever had one?
No.
This is his first.
He did have something.
Did he?
Before,
Well, I talked to
so.
him at the ball game, Ospreys game.
Didn't he have hip surgery or something? He
Not
had
sure.
something.
He said something. But I don't
Yeah.
think it was knee surgery.
He's like the bionic man now.
Yeah, these knee
Bionic.
surgeries now that they're doing
Oh.
a lot different than when I had mine replaced. And you have to stay in the hospital. You go in now at 7, you're out at 3
Yeah.
in their office.
Well, I went in for mine, and I had to get to the hospital there in Wilmington. But I had to be there at like 6:30 in the morning or something.
Wow.
But then they had other things to come up. I didn't get surgicalized until like 4:00 in the afternoon, so I was an overnighter.
Yeah.
But next morning, up and walking at the crack of dawn, and I said,
was
"Let's go! Come on, let's roll."
How was your first step after you had the surgery?
Well, they got me this cute little walker thing.
Right. Well, how was it?
It was fine. I took it. I walked. And when I got down to the end of the hallway, I said, "Okay, we got to go back now." So I picked up the walker, and carried it back with me.
You sound just like my mother. My mother she had
And then I opened the big double doors at the end.
yeah.
I used the walker, pushed them open, get out of the way.
I remember my mama. They gave her a
Just give it a
cane
weapon.
to assist her because I forget she'd fallen or something. And but when I got her to her apartment complex and she got out of the car, she refused to use the cane. So she's just walking along, twirling it in the air because she didn't want the neighbors to see her using a cane. Tickled me so bad.
I'll just carry my cane over there.
Yeah, no, you get arrested.
Right. Kathy's boat was called Blue Bayou.
Oh, nice.
Blue Bayou. Ooh,
Yeah, but
like that one.
BLEWBY.
Blue Bayou. Okay, got it.
And I want you to know I'm very, very jealous because she posted earlier that she's already done all her Christmas shopping.
What? Oh,
Yes.
for last year. She's late.
No,
No.
for this year.
And wrapped.
And wrapped.
Well, here's
I'm like-
a question I've got for people like Kathy.
Who does that?
Kathy, here's my question for
Kathy.
you. What happens if, unfortunately, the person you bought the gift for that's no longer a friend of yours? They just don't like you
Give it to
anymore.
Lee.
Do you have generic stuff you could just take off the name tag and put another name
Are
tag?
you allowed to re-gift those, Frankfurt?
Are your name tags Velcroed?
She'll call you and answer it. Most of them are for the grandkids.
Well, does
the
that mean you can
grandkid, might not
re-gift?
like the grandkid after a while.
She loves the grandkids.
Yeah, that grandkid might be on your bad list.
I've only got one, so I'm good to go.
I know.
I have
Kathy, if
two.
you're listening,
I have
put
the
us in
best.
places.
I have the best.
What happened? I mean,
grandkids.
they could have an unfortunate accident, whatever, or they can move to someplace, or they could, become a hippie, or they might even, oh, for God's sakes, Kathy, what if they become a Democrat?
I just want to know how you buy gifts for kids in advance because they've got all the new stuff
I
out,
know.
and that's what they want.
You get the other stuff when they bring new stuff out. Give them
Rayford.
they won't know the difference.
As a grandmother, you have to be right up on things.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean,
I just get on the floor with them Christmas morning and put it together and play with them.
oh, I remember those
Did you ever put
days.
a
I
swing
know
set
that's
together?
her calling. I know where it is. Yeah, it's her.
Did
I'm
you,
letting it off.
you ever put a swing set together in the middle of the night, Christmas
No,
Eve? I didn't either, but I helped do it for somebody else one time. I said, "Oh my goodness gracious!" See, my doggy, when I get him a gift for Christmas time, he doesn't care that
We need a doggy door.
No, we don't. There are too many other critters out there.
Yeah.
Kathy,
Help.
Stephanie,
Stephanie, how are you?
I'm fine. Kathy's got all her shopping done. Stephanie hasn't.
I know. I was reading that and I was like, dang.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because you considered giving something to me this year. I've got something I'd like to
Well,
have.
here's the secret to shopping. You take your grandkids out with your daughter, and your daughter refuses to buy them something that they want. Well, Grandma goes back and gets it later.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a Christmas present because it's, hey, that works well for me. It has for years. So now I'm ready to start my Christmas cards.
Okay,
there you go.
All right, you better mail them while the postage is still lower.
Just go get you some forever stamps.
Now
I got them.
here,
I got the most.
Have you ever bought something in advance for somebody and decided, you know what, before Christmas, I don't like that sucker anymore. He did this and this, or he voted wrong.
Most of mine.
Most of yours.
Yeah. So Chris is going to be easy because he doesn't want anything. So I can put that in the box with no problem.
Put nothing in a box.
I've asked for that. I've never gotten it.
I have no problem with that, except for Stephanie. Since you haven't bought, I'll send you a list of just one. I just want one item, one little item. It's a small radio. As a matter of fact, it's a miniature type radio.
Very expensive radio.
Which one?
What?
It's called the Flex Aurora, and it's a model 520.
She's probably right. She's probably writing it down.
Right now.
I'm writing it down.
Okay. Flex Aurora, the model 520, 520.
Okay.
And
I'll send that list. I'll send that in to Santa for you.
and,
Stephanie's not going to do that one, but Santa
did
might.
you look at the price yet, Kelly?
I haven't got to the price yet, but I'm looking at a picture.
She's looking at
Oh,
sticker
yes.
shock.
Let's see how Santa.
Let's see what the
Santa's
sticker
for.
shock is.
The second mortgage time.
What? I could buy a car for that.
Oh,
How much
This
is
one.
it? How much is it, buddy?
$8,599. You better go.
Get out of
There's a,
town.
what? Wait for this.
speechless.
Wait for we're going to send you to Yankee Town.
That's all right. I'd take over.
You need to go to that
I'd
funeral.
declare war on them.
You need to go to Daryl Thomas's funeral in Detroit. He's still going to be dropping money from a
I saw that
helicopter.
helicopter. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, he's going out with a bang. He's going to put his wish is at the funeral to have a whole. He's assuring that he's going to have a well-attended funeral.
He was
That's what
giving
it
it
is.
back to his community. Yeah, dropped money from the helicopter.
Money from the helicopter.
You know, and rose petals. The FAA is investigating, but not the police. They were there.
Hey, we could buy some new police cars with this
Yeah,
stuff.
really. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Like WKRP was dropping down Turkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the funniest on TV. Bottom line, I
Oh
don't
my
care.
gosh.
Is
Okay.
the
Well,
history.
Stephanie's out of here.
Okay,
Kathy's got
Stephanie.
painting to do.
Thanks, Kathy.
Bye,
See you
Kat.
later.
Y'all have a great day.
You too.
I did not want to do a whole lot of too much serious today. I was just not in the mood, as you probably figured out in the beginning of the show.
I'll tell you.
But still, I haven't told them jokes yet.
There you go.
I think you should tell that one that you sent the first one yesterday. What was
I
that
have no
one?
clue what I
That can be told. Let me see what it says here.
That must have
It
been before the
says,
mics went hot.
let me get past all the self poetry here.
Self poetry.
Yeah, self poetry. This is the one about the golf club.
You got a better memory than I have.
Okay. It's the one at dawn the telephone rings. Hello, Senor Jean. This is Ernesto, the caretaker at your country house. Oh, yes, Ernesto. What can I do for you? Is there a problem? I'm just calling to advise you, sir, that your parrot died. My parrot? Dead? The one that won the international competition or the other one? The champion, sir. Oh, gosh, that's a pity. I spent a small fortune on that bird. What did he die from? From eating rotten meat. Rotten meat? Who fed him rotten meat? Nobody, senor. He ate the meat of one of the dead horses. Dead horse? What dead horse? The thoroughbred, Mr. Lucky. He died from all that work pulling the water cart. Are you insane? What water cart? The one we used to put out the fire. Good Lord, what fire are you talking about, man? The one at your house. A candle fell and the curtains caught on fire. What the? But there's electricity at your house. What was the candle for? For the funeral. What funeral? Your mother-in-law's. She showed up one night out of the blue and I thought she was a thief, so I hit her with one of your new golf clubs. And there was a real long silence. Ernesto, if you broke that golf club, you're fired. That's what we get through
That
the
one was
night.
hilarious to me.
That's what we get through the night.
You just
So
never
my-
know what the punchline's going to be, do you?
We get jokes like that all night long.
No, you don't. I'm not up all night.
The hours you are up, we get jokes. And there were some more jokes, but that one was probably the easiest one to read.
I know. We all picking on me.
No.
Yeah,
You really need to be very careful picking on me.
Oh, I don't
Why?
pick on you.
Because as the meanest man in the world,
Oh,
I could
your
become very
feelings have been
violent.
so hurt by Theo
If
saying
I
you
had
were
any
mean.
feelings, they would be hurt.
Theo, you need to call and apologize
No, you don't.
because he
I don't
can't
want
get
you to.
off of it.
I would feel bad about Theo calling.
I'm telling you, he said it with love.
Rayford can't let it go there.
Love is a 4-letter word.
I do want to talk about a story that I wanted to bring up a couple days ago that really, really upset me. We have our congresswomen and men and our senators. And, while we'll sit here and talk junk about them sometimes, they undergo a lot. Look at Senator Tillis. How many death threats has he been getting? And I'm sure they've probably picked up recently, with now him being a so-called rhino. But this is one from a U.S. representative that I follow a lot. She's a Republican, Kat Kamick from Florida. Last week, her offices were evacuated due to imminent death threats against her unborn child, her family, and her staff. And all this erupted following a news report about her ectopic pregnancy. Kamick shared the challenges she faced getting treatment for a life-threatening pregnancy in May 2024. Doctors estimated at the time that she was just 5 weeks pregnant, but there was no heartbeat. She said the medical staff had initially resisted treating her because they were worried about violating Florida's near total abortion ban, which had recently taken effect. Now, she's pregnant again, and she's due this summer. But she said she received thousands of hate-filled messages and dozens of credible threats from pro-abortion activists, which law enforcement is actively investigating. So when she was pregnant back in 2024, and it was ectopic pregnancy, and it was not viable, of course they had to do an abortion. There was no other choice on that. But to threaten her life and the life of her unborn child and threaten her family, death threats, this is taking it way too far.
I'm going to go here for just a second.
Yes.
Medical professionals are just exactly that. They're professionals. I would put the professionalism of Dr. Murphy above pretty much any laws that any state in the country would come up with.
Mm-hmm.
If if another doctor, now I'm not talking about a wackadoc, the dollar an hour doctors. I'm talking about professionals with multiple second opinions, whatever. If they determine that the health of the mother is at risk, there should be no other questions, and there should be an outright law, if any place that has abortion bans,
Right.
outright law that immunity is granted, period, bottom line. It has to be in a situation, though, that you do have second opinions and not somebody from the same practice. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, she opposes abortion.
Unless it happens to be an emergency
Right.
with a wreck involved and whatever. But
Well, she opposes abortion and co-chairs the House Pro-Life Caucus, supports exceptions for cases of rape and incest
absolutely.
in the first trimester and in cases where the mother's life is at risk. But in her Wednesday post last week, she clarified that she had not voted for the state's current abortion plan because she is a U.S. House representative and not a representative representing Florida. She's not a Florida
She's not
House.
a state rep.
That's right. She's a federal rep.
Okay,
So, and she says, let me be clear, I will not be intimidated.
why do you even have to explain that to people who are out
I
there?
know.
Are they that ignorant?
But
There are some ignorant people out there, yes.
They've got to be ignorant or stupid.
to have to evacuate your office and have to put up with death threats because she had a pregnancy, but it was for medical reasons. I mean, the pregnancy was not viable, and had she not had that surgery, it probably would have killed her.
Radical left, radical right, radical anything is not no.
Right.
They don't deserve a voice. Period.
Horrible.
Out in Mitchell, Nebraska.
We going west.
A 4-year-old boy in Nebraska has been flown to a Colorado hospital after a lawn mowing accident severed a foot.
Ooh.
The Scottsbluff County Sheriff's Office said they received a report about the 4-year-old boy having his foot severed on Sunday afternoon. An off-duty medical professional was nearby, rendered aid immediately. Thank God, probably was able to save the kid's life from bleeding to death. The boy was flown to the medical center before being taken to a hospital in Denver for treatment. The sheriff's office did an investigation, said the event was an accident. No criminal charges involved. The Scottsbluff County Sheriff's Office said it is emphasizing lawnmower safety for both children and adults during these summer grass growing seasons.
That's sad.
The power mower is one of the most dangerous tools around the home, according to the Lincoln Pediatric Group. Each year, 5,000 children are treated in emergency departments for injuries caused by power mowers.
Horrible.
If you've got children around or adults who act like children, use a power mower with a control that stops the mower from moving forward if you turn loose of the handle, if you get off the seat of your riding lawnmower. Riding lawnmowers today come equipped with, and they're often bypassed, a plug, a wire that goes in. If you shake your fat butt off of the seat, the mower stops.
Mine does.
Period.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Mine does.
If you've got a push lawnmower, there's a bar that comes down. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to have to start that lawnmower every time you turn around to go pick up a stick that's in your way. But if you bend over to pick up that stick and that lawnmower happens to be left in, guess what? Self-propel.
Mm-hmm.
You can get yourself hurt, or your child, or a grandchild who happens to be out there wanting to play. Even your little kid. Can you imagine having little kittens around? They're nosy little critters anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You want to run over a little kitten, a new kitten?
No.
Make sure that blade settings are done by an adult with experience and smarts. The mower should be turned off, spark plug removed or disconnected. If you do anything under that lawnmower, you rotate it on its side to clean the grass clippings and the grass is clogging it up, unplug, just pull that spark plug off. You do that, you ain't going to start.
Yep.
There's a rule out there. I know about that rule. It's simple. Pull that spark plug wire off.
It's popular. It's popular. Probably lawnmower company.
Here we go, another.
Agency.
Hello?
Hello, can I help you?
Hi, my name is Sylvie. The purpose of my call today is to inform you that the open enrollment of Medicare 2025 has started and now qualifying for. It can give you enhanced benefits like food and flex cards and whatnot by paying even less premiums for it. To confirm your eligibility, can you tell me if you have Part A and B of Medicare?
No.
Sorry, but you do not seem to qualify.
I get those. And they normally start after 9 o'clock. Now they're getting really brazen.
Oh, yeah.
I've had them call me on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, I know.
They get so mad.
Oh. They don't care in NASCARs, huh? Well, if it's on Sunday, not Saturday night. But
I like the one that says, "May I ask your age?" I said, "Yeah, I'm 114." Pause. You don't qualify for this.
Oh, now they're calling. Now they're calling the studio phone.
God
It
help
was
them.
Steve. It's going to give us a garden report.
Hello, do you have Part A and Part B, your Medicare card? Do you have that handy with you? Can I ask you what your age is? to see whether you qualify for all these extended benefits.
Do you have a vegetable garden?
I got part F.
You qualify! Amazing. Send me money.
Good, Steve.
Is that for fertilizer?
Yeah, I'm just on the way back from the hardware store and went and picked up the rest of the lumber for my massive trellis.
You're going to put hurricane straps on that massive trellis just in case?
I've actually got some screw-in anchors.
Oh, okay. You got it.
And a steel cable I'm going to go over it with because I'm not digging the poles into the ground. I've actually put them in 5-gallon buckets and porta buckets full of concrete.
Oh, she'd probably have to have a permit.
So they'll be freestanding, and if I need to move it, I can because the garden's actually all my utility lines run right through the middle of it.
Okay, so let me ask you this: is your wife going to pick up those 5-gallon buckets full of concrete to move them for you?
No, she ain't even gonna touch it. She don't touch the garden at all. She'll go out there and let me take her picture in it, but that's as much as she wants to do in the garden.
you take her picture in the garden, and then she sends it around and says, "Look at my garden, girls."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's got what we call a black thumb. She would do a rubber tree plant. Yeah.
Gotcha. My wife can grow anything, but she stays out of the garden for some reason. I don't know. She got her own stuff going.
Yeah. My wife's the one that I'll have like flower baskets on the porch, and she walked right by them. They droop and looking like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, and she don't even notice it. But they need water.
You better get the dinner ready.
She said, "God will take care of it. God, he'll handle that. Don't worry about it."
She's like, "Steve got it. He got it. He likes doing it. That's the favorite thing."
Yes. Gotcha.
It's like when I used to have to clean the boat. It's like he likes it. Let him do it.
But I tried that on Robbie too. She said, "I don't like it that much."
Kathy has a green thumb, but it's for gardens, flowers. Beautiful. Yeah.
Stuff you can eat.
If you're a deer.
Gotcha. All right, we've been frivolous this morning, Steve, as you can probably tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a very lighthearted morning, man. I say we just keep it that way.
Well,
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
But yeah, like I say, I got to get some shade for this daggone garden. It has stressed it to no ends, and the heat has just begun. We ain't even got to the hot part yet. But
well, rain is on the way, Steve. If that's any consolation,
it'll wash away the dead stuff.
I was gonna say honestly, rain ain't my friend. I use irrigation, and so it keeps all the mildew and stuff like that off of it, funguses. And every time it rains, that's when the fungus starts. So
it's the heat that is the problem. Even if your soil is soaking wet, and it comes out with that 98-degree days, that you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Sorry for the
You can't give them enough water. They relax. All the cucumbers, the leaves will just droop right down. They're so sad looking. But I put a little section of shade cloth over one of my trellises, and it did wonders, but it's a little too dark. So I've got one coming that's only 30% shade cloth.
Okay. So what would you recommend? Because I may go get me some. Especially over the cucumbers.
Most people, I've been watching that Millennial Gardener out of Wilmington.
Yeah, I love him.
And he's the one that kind of sold me on it because he was talking about how nice it was to work in the garden for him to have the shade over the garden, not just the plant.
Okay.
But if you like 40%, you can only use during this time of year. It in the spring and fall, it actually will slow your plant growth.
Right.
So you have to take it back off. So that's why I was hoping the 30% would do the trick. And mainly, I just want it to not sunburn my tomatoes and not make my cucumbers and all that stuff wilt.
Yeah. You don't want those sun-ripened sun-dried tomatoes, do you?
I've already gotten a couple off. They're burn on the top, a little bit, and got that wrinkly look on them. So yeah.
I have to ask. Did you say sunburnt tomatoes?
Yeah.
Sunburnt. Yeah. If the sun's too strong, it'll burn them and it'll make a weird texture on the skin.
The skin gets really leathery almost.
Okay.
Just like some of the old women in Florida that go there from the north and lay out on the beach all day long. You know that skin that's wrinkled up? You'll understand. God, did I just say that?
Yeah, you did. I didn't. I'm really gonna go on record with that. But yeah, it'll burn them like that. So that's what I'm trying to prevent, and then it'll still let the rain through.
Mm-hmm.
If it does rain, but it won't pour on them quite as much.
Leah's over here writing notes.
She's ignoring
No, I'm
right?
writing email address for the millennial gardener. I want him to call in.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, mercy.
Hey, that would be fun. I'm sure he would love talking to you.
Get his number and we'll call him whenever he wants.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him.
I was going to say, have you seen his recent videos in the last few weeks?
I have not.
I saw I didn't watch it. The one something about just nearly destroyed my whole garden. What was that about?
Yeah, that's the one. The rain where they got where we had a bunch of rain a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wilmington got it like 3 times a day.
Yeah, they got like 4 or 5 inches at a time there. It was nasty.
Yeah, and it destroyed his garden. And he went around and showed what it done, and the tomato plants were full of disease, and it destroyed his garden. But he found some positives out of it. I thought that was kind of neat. It's a learning experience type thing.
Yeah. I like him.
Every failure is a learning experience.
Well, I'd rather learn at his expense personally, but
well, what I like about him is he's local. I mean,
he's a transplant. He's not local.
I mean, he's right here at Wilmington, so
that's a transplant. He didn't come from Wilmington.
What I'm trying to say is his gardening experiences will be in the same region as ours. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If you watch go back and watch his older videos that he first started posting when he first moved to Wilmington, he had a learning curve.
Yes.
That's the ones I like because he would share all of his mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's from Crackertown? I just wondered. I'm just wondering. You said he's a transplant.
He's a transplant from up yonder.
Up
Pennsylvania,
yonder.
I think, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Didn't he come from Pennsylvania?
It might have been. It was something like that.
We're going to find out because
I think he was from Climax,
much more northern Climax, where they didn't have to deal with the heat like they do here.
Right.
But he's the one that grows fruit trees like orange trees and everything there in Wilmington.
Yeah.
And that's the one I told you that he's got the incandescent Christmas lights he puts in the fruit tree when it gets down to like freezing, and those lights keep the tree warm.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a smart guy.
LED lights don't help you a bit, but you need to get the old Christmas tree lamps.
He's very smart. I enjoy his videos.
Yeah.
In fact, I commented on one and he commented back. I was like, oh.
I
just remember you then.
All right. Well, I just wanted to call and say hey today. There's all kinds of things we could talk about, but like I say, I like the lighthearted atmosphere this morning, so we just leave it at that.
If you see them getting ready to take the actual vote to date, text me just in case I don't see it.
You can read about it later. What's the difference?
No, Steve and I, we go.
Oh, please.
Did I actually see the what? I'm sorry, Lee.
If you see they actually start to take the actual vote today on the bill, send me a text.
Beautiful bill.
I don't know if they did because I've seen some reports that were interesting. I won't go far down this road, but they said the votes that they were going through the vote-a-rama last night.
Right.
That normally it only takes about 15 minutes for everybody to vote, but the Republicans were keeping it open for an hour.
They said they were going to do some short votes this morning, but I don't see where anything has happened yet.
But there was some I won't say confusion, but curiosity over why they weren't trying to speed through these votes, why the Republicans were kind of dragging their feet to them. Some people were like, why?
I think we all should just enjoy July 4th and quit worrying about the bill.
Yeah. It's fine with me. Ignore it. I'm going to ignore it.
There's no news on it right now.
I'd say stop trying so hard. Let's break it out in, one bill, one issue, one bill. Get it going.
That's right.
Get something happening. Big bills rarely make it, anyway.
A big, beautiful bill.
It
sucks.
Here's one I'd like to have them vote on before July 4th. One time during the year. Not daylight savings time. Not back and forth. One time. Simple vote. Boom. Do it.
You'll never see that.
They'll change it next year if they do.
I would tend to agree with you on that one.
Thanks, Steve.
You know, I'd say there's people out there that it means more to them that if we don't do that, then it means to me to do that. So.
Here's what they need to do, okay? They need to take Eastern Standard Time, or the standard time across this country, and move it forward 1/2 hour and keep it there year-round.
To split the difference.
That's right.
Okay, I could live with that.
You know, there's one nation somewhere that has done that. Their time is 1/2 hour off of everything else. I got to look that up. I believe is it Iceland?
I was going to say, you know, it only matters if you look at a clock.
That's it.
The sun don't know that.
We don't
about
care.
daylight saving time.
That's a good point.
We don't care. It's like,
Yeah.
That's
It's
a good
going to come
point.
up and go down just like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
some people call that
You can call it whatever time you want. Yeah.
bedtime, get up time.
Come on, I'm skipping.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Steve. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
Chat
Y'all have a
later.
Have a great day, man. Have a blessed day.
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have Dr. Rose in here, and we also have Mr. Wright,
Mr.
ladies.
Wright's
Mr. Wright
gonna be
is going to be here for y'all.
Well, that's perfect.
I wonder if he would be. I wonder if I could get a call, another idiot call in. That he could, because that's all recorded.
Oh yeah.
I've tried to talk to them, and it never works.
No, you
It
can't.
just satisfies me, but it makes me angry. So I gave up on it. I just answered one time, and then they got their fake intelligence, aka artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
is kind of cute.
The three of us will be listening tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kathy and Stephanie, and hopefully that lady that just called you will call when Peter's here, and you can have him phone. See what he does.
All right. I just brought up a YouTube on Forbes breaking news. Senators engage in a vote-a-rama for the big, beautiful bill on the Senate floor. So they're still engaging in their vote-a-rama.
I've never liked getting big bills.
Nobody usually does.
So why do we want a big, beautiful bill?
I just,
If it's
I
big,
don't like the name of it.
If it's big, it's beautiful. What is this, hippie time or what?
big, beautiful
Why don't we
bill.
get some? Oh, let's have some flower. A big flowery bill.
I make a motion that they change it to Big Barren Bill
Yeah.
in honor of his son.
Why?
It takes the big beautiful out of it. Okay, make it the Barren Beautiful Bill. Just do something.
Make
Better
it
Business
like
Bureau.
the American People's Bill or something like that.
Shaft no more bill.
Good luck on that one.
Who's Cusack? John is his name?
He's an actor.
Yeah, I know that.
Yes.
I
I
guess he's
like
trying
him.
to make a name for himself.
Why?
You did like him, because I'm going to tell you why you don't like
Oh,
him.
God.
He doesn't like Donald Trump, but that's not a reason not to like him. He doesn't like Israel. I guess that's not a reason not to like him. John Cusack expressed hope last Friday that Iran will get a nuclear weapon. Why? He put that thing on X. The actor said Iran should get a nuclear weapon so that it can deter the United States and Israel's aggression in the Middle East.
my gosh.
His quote, Iran will surely rush to get a nuclear weapon, and they should get one. It's the only way to deter U.S. and Israel from bombing every country in the Middle East.
Mm.
Hey, John, good luck.
Well, I was just going to look them up on X, but there's too many of them, so I don't know which one's which. I don't worry about now. But, yeah, go make movies. Just go make movies and quit getting in politics. We pay you enough to make a movie.
We pay enough to watch him do.
Yeah.
So.
And, well, people like that seem to fade away.
Hi, John.
Yeah, I think the best movie that I saw him in was in Con Air with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it was a
When
good
he
movie.
played, I think he was the FBI agent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
was a
movie.
good one. He did good in that one, yeah.
Good ending to the movie.
Blind
Yes.
allegiance for Israel is alliance to a genocidal regime. It's a nation state run by a murderous gangster, not some fixed star.
Mm-hmm.
From Mr. Cusack. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, we're going to see you tomorrow morning. Live and local, real talk. We will be mostly awake. And maybe we'll be serious tomorrow. We got Peter Wright, got Dr. Rosemary Stein. Do we have any questions left over from Theo or anyone for Dr. Rose tomorrow? I think we've answered them all, right?
I think we've answered them all.
We have any questions we want to ask her tomorrow? I don't.
Let's talk about children and fireworks safety.
Yeah, there's an idea.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
There. Ever had a firecracker go off in or near your hand?
Yes, I have. When I was little.
That it's got one. It felt like my hand. I thought my hand had ruptured.
Yeah.
It was in the dark. I would light them and throw them. But the people that cut those fuses and put the amount of powder in those fuses for fireworks, they are. You think the cheap stuff we get from China in other areas is cheap?
Yeah.
Those fuses sometimes burn. You light it and it burn and burn and burn and burn. And then all of a sudden they go.
Yeah. Careful.
It's hard to time them. Don't do it. Okay. So we'll talk to her tomorrow about fireworks safety with children's.
Children.
Have a great rest of your day. It's Tuesday. It's going to be hot again. Going to be windy. The water is going to be a little bit on the choppy side, becoming rougher later over the next day or so. By Thursday, things should start to calm down again. And so we'll be talking about a fairly good-looking weekend as we get closer to the weekend. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a blessed day.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for coming in, Chris.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
See you.